ML Sports Take here, brought to you by Chick-fil-A of Cicero and Clay and Stanley Law Offices. Just an amazing win for St. Bonaventure at the Riley Center over Dayton, 68-59. Before I get into a couple things with this game, I just had a couple of housekeeping notes here. Look, this was probably the biggest day of college basketball so far this season. I mean, we had Indiana at Purdue. We had UNC and Duke. Despite not being ranked, it doesn't affect anything in terms of the rivalry and what that means. Yeah, the teams aren't as good. They're not ranked, but still UNC and Duke, right? We had Virginia Tech. We had Iowa State and our guys with Oshun and Jaron Holmes taking out Kansas. We had games galore. St. Mary's, Gonzaga. And where was St. Bonaventure placed? 8 o'clock ESPNU. I mean, doesn't that tell you how far this program has come? It really should. The Bonnie's on the national map, getting an ESPNU game, unbelievable stuff. The RC factor looked amazing on TV. And for the first time this year, I know they were playing at the RC, but for the first time this year, I actually had a belief that I think the Bonnies can win the A10 tournament. I think they're good enough to do that. As far as the game is concerned, obviously 3 huge keys in this one. The RC factor, number 2, they made 9 3-pointers and they defended the 3 incredibly well. And I thought, you know, the 5 guys, the starters, were unbelievable. They only got 2 points off the bench, but that's because Moses Flowers is now in the starting lineup, right? He scored 13, such a spark plug on both ends of the floor. Banks had 12, 13 for Luke Venning, 17, 11 for Farrell, you know, and Bonaventure, too. I mean, they did a pretty darn good job, I thought, on Holmes. I mean, I know he's still going to get his at 21 points, but he only got 2 rebounds. I mean, I thought Venning and the guards and, you know, some of the forwards really were pushing him away from the rim to be able to get rebounds, and Dayton only out-rebounded Bonaventure by 3. I thought that was a big thing in this game. Both teams were kind of shaky from the line, 13-19 for Bona, 11 for 17 for Dayton. But just overall was a really good, tenacious, amazing win. A lot of big-time moments and a lot of out-hustling, too, by St. Bonaventure. Think, for example, the Darrell Banks 3. He follows it up immediately, grabs the rebound, and just lays it in. Like little plays like that. How about the Banks block under 2 minutes where he blocks it? It goes immediately off the head of the Dayton player, and Banks knew it. He looked right at the ref and he said, "Head, our ball." Little things like that. I'm loving Luke and Banks breaking the press. Boy, is Cairo Luke fast. Holy Toledo. He only had 4 points, but again, excuse me, not 4 points. He had 13 points to Elvis's 4 and to Smith's 7. So that was another thing. Bonaventure's guards really outplayed Dayton's. I mean, you get 25 points out of Banks the third and Luke to 11 for Elvis and Smith, who both had awful shooting games. So this was just an overall great win, a home win. The Bonnies are starting to roll a little bit here, and they are now 10-2 at home. So we'll see if they can keep this thing going. But again, just a really aggressive game. 3-point defense was outstanding. 3-point shooting was solid for Bonaventure, making 9 of those, 37.5%, 9 for 24. You know, Bonnie's on the national map. Great to see it. And there is one other thing during these games, and I talked to my guy Matt Motika last night about this. Mark Schmidt, man, he does get away with so many so many runs up to half court. He goes so far out of that coach's box, it isn't even funny, and he gets away with it all the time. So I crack up at that. But hey, if you can keep getting away with it, keep getting away with it. Love Schmidt. Was texting with him a little bit last night. Boy, what a great win. Mike Lindsley with you here. It's an ML Sports Take. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel. I do want to mention that when I went down to Bona for the January 14th game against Richmond, great to see a bunch of people who I mentioned, but forgot to mention my guy Dan Quetchen, who's a great dude who I went to school with as well. So it was great to catch up with Dan. Again, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. It's all brought to you by Welch and Company Jewelers and Stanley Law Offices. And as I always tell you, enjoy the games.